This is our next question of process account with abnormal loss and gain. Basic material, cost of basic material, other expenses related to process are given. And then output is also mentioned here. When output is given, there is possibility of abnormal loss or gain. So here output is 980, then 900 and 880. So abnormal loss and gain will be definitely there. So let us start just like previous questions. Input of process 1 or here process D is 1000 units at 60. 1000 units at 60 comes to 60,000, and all these expenses are recorded as per they are given in the question 120 onwards. Once the expenses are recorded, next coming to normal loss. As you can see, there is no normal loss here. So normal loss is blank. There need not be normal loss in each and every process. That is why this in this question it is intentionally kept blank. Normal loss is not a compulsion. If the material used is of that particular quality, which normally gets lost during the process, then only there is possibility of normal loss. In some cases, there is no normal loss. It's fine. So when there is no normal loss, we will directly jump to our output. Output units are 980. Once we transfer 980 here, our abnormal loss comes to 20. Now, abnormal loss calculation is as it is mentioned in previous questions. Total of debit side is 1000, total of credit side before posting or abnormal loss is 980. So here we get difference of rupees 20 units on credit side. So this 20 units on credit side is abnormal loss. Okay. Then for abnormal loss, next step is to calculate cost per unit for output as well as for abnormal loss. For this purpose, we use our formula total cost minus scrap value upon total input units minus normal loss units. So here is debit total cost, including basic material. Total of all these values, you can confirm total comes to 4 lakh. Less scrap value. There is no scrap value. So it will be nil and our net cost will be 4 lakh. So in numerator, total cost minus scrap value shall be 4 lakh upon total input units minus normal loss units. Total input units are 1000, normal loss is nil. So again, 1000 minus normal loss is nil. So expected output shall be 1000. So here 44 lakh divided by 1000 units, our cost per unit will be 400. It is shown here, cost per unit is 400. Now multiply output with 400 and then multiply abnormal loss with 400. You will get this amount and account gets closed. Coming to second process, all these values of process 1 which are transferred to next process will be debited. Then all other expenses, all our expenses 88,000, 90,000, 74 and 69, all these expenses are shown on debit side. Then here normal loss is 5%. Normal loss 5% of input. Our input is 980 and on 980 we need to calculate 5%. So you can confirm normal loss comes to 980 into 5%. So it comes to 49 units, and 49 units scrap value mentioned here is 12. Amount will be 588. Once we post normal loss here, next output quantity is given in the question 900. So now next write output 900 transferred to next process. Again, excuse me for the name. The name are copy pasted from question number 1. So you will find the process names as different. So ignore the process name. Just focus on the amount column. 900 is output transfer to next process and normal loss is 49. So after we post all this information, first of all close quantity column of process 2 account. In process 2, total of debit side is 980 and total of credit side includes normal loss and process C. It comes to 949. So again you will find there is difference on credit side. So on credit side our abnormal loss shall be 31 units. So this 31 units is abnormal loss, and next our step will be calculation of cost per unit for transfer and cost per unit of abnormal loss. Now you are well aware about how to calculate this CPU. Our total cost on debit side is 3,92,000 up to 69,000. It comes to 7,13,000. Scrap value is 588. It should be deducted. We will get 7,12,412 and divide by input units 980 less normal loss units 49. So 980 less 49 equal to 931. And in order to calculate CPU, 7,12,412 divided by 931. So this numerator is 7,12,412 and denominator is 931. Our answer 765.21. And once we write this our answer 765.21, you have to just multiply 900 into 765, you will get this amount, and abnormal loss quantity into CPU, you will get 23,722. Once you close this amount, moving to next process, all these values transfer to last process, and in last process, follow the same step. Uh, Transfer all these values 48,000 onwards up to 61,000. All these values you have to transfer on debit side. Then calculate 4%. In process number 3, our loss was normal loss was 4% of input. 4%. So 4% comes to 900 into 4%. It comes to 36. 900 into 4%. Our abnormal loss shall be 36. And scrap value given is 20. So 36 into 20 comes to 720. So 36 into 20 is 720, our scrap value. And while closing, post finished goods quantity as given in the question. In question, finished goods quantity given is 880. Once you post 880 here, then close quantity column first. Quantity column total comes to 916. And before posting abnormal gain, total was 900 on debit side, 916 on credit side. Abnormal gain comes to balancing figure 16 units. And then last part is calculation of cost per unit for transfer as well as for abnormal gain. For cost per unit, our procedure is same. Take total of all these values up to overheads, deduct scrap value from this. So 9,99,690 minus 720 comes to 9,91,970 as net cost of last process. And for expected output, 900 minus 36 debit units minus normal loss units, it comes to 864. So our final calculation 9,91,970 divided by 864. Our CPU 1148.11. The CPU is shown here as abnormal gain as well as for finished goods. And then you have to multiply quantity into CPU, you will get this value. And again, in abnormal gain, you have to multiply 16 into 1148, you will get 18,370. This value. So confirm this. And this was our question number 4. Further questions will be for your practice only. This is about abnormal loss and abnormal gain calculation with CPU. Again, I'm mentioning here, in case of your practice, prepare detailed working notes, and working notes are always considered as part of your solution. So working note is compulsory. Whatever method you are using for calculation purpose, it's fine, but working note should be there. Method you can decide of your own. Here, this table is shown only for convenience purpose. Actually, you have to use this formula only, and this way you have to calculate 1148. So your calculation will be in 3 steps only. This is only for tabular form in order to show you the values which are taken from these various processes. Okay, thank you.